Thank you for tuning in, guys. Welcome. We've got a very funny start to the week here. You know that game Schedule One? You may have heard of it. Very successful indie game that launched a few weeks ago where you get to play as a drug dealer, and yeah, it's essentially the game. Well, it's coming under fire from the activists, the modern audience activist sort of people. So that's always hilarious. We're going to take a look at a gaming journalist article on The Gamer, why they're mad at this game, and also a post over on Reddit. And really quick update on the VTuber thing I mentioned a few weeks ago, maybe like a month ago at this point. Probably not a month, maybe like 3 weeks. But I mentioned I have this VTuber model that I've had for like a few years now, which I think some of you already know about, of course. But most people probably don't because I never really use it, never get a chance to stream. It just doesn't fit in my schedule. And I want to start using it for certain videos here and there. I think that would be fun and help to add more content to the channel. And so we're going to start with this one actually and see how it goes. Quality assurance and all that great stuff. And the outlet The Gamer, which we're going to hop over to in just a second. You remember this outlet, right? Always appealing to the modern audience types. They were like constantly propping up Dragon Age the Veilguard, for example, even writing an article titled, "How much of the internet's vitriol against Dragon Age the Veilguard feels manufactured?" Oh yeah, because people genuinely disliking this game. That can't be a thing, right? Like it's got to be manufactured. It's got to be fake. Get out of here. Yeah, that's The Gamer. So, VTuber jump scare in 3, 2, 1. And there we go. Okay, wow. Definitely crazy. What a change of pace, huh? So their outlet from, their article. Yeah, it's off to a great start. 6 hours ago, this article from 6 hours ago on The Gamer. It's incredibly racist. Schedule One comes under fire for one of its achievements. I love how they pick this image to go at the very top. Like, yeah, you gotta show the cop body searching the character as they call it racist, huh? Social media calls for renaming or removing the Indian dealer achievement in Schedule One. Social media, they mean like all of 5 people, right? Due to racist connotations, the achievement is the only one in the game specifying a race, rooted in a history of harmful stereotypes against indigenous people. An indigenous streaming group demands for the removal or renaming of the achievement to promote respect and inclusivity in games, Here we go. A little before it reaches its 1-month anniversary, calls online have begun for Schedule One to change the name of its achievements due to racist connotations. The achievement was first noted by Twitter user Crow, who we're going to take a look at that in a second, who tagged the game's creator and said, "I'm loving the game, but can you remove this achievement? It's incredibly racist. The only achievement specifying a race." Oh my gosh, yeah, here's the tweet. You can see the Crow show. We already read the tweet on the article, but here's the tweet itself. Let's take a look at the comments. We've got Shanna Lay saying, "Thank you for bringing attention to this. This is not someone who works on the game or anything, I don't think. This is a voice actor." Yeah, that's English voice actor, huh? That's not surprising at all. Pixel Kitten. Oof. What else we got here? "Why are people this easily offended on behalf of someone else as well, playing games about selling drugs and shooting people?" I totally missed this, by the way. Look at this one. Crow responded to the person who said oof. Is like, "Yeah, I'm not sure what decade we're in, but I was shocked when I saw that. Oh, I was shocked, guys. I was like traumatized." Like, bro, get over yourself. "I burst out laughing when I saw this achievement. What an insufferable take." This other person also tags Tyler in Schedule One game, saying, "Also loving the game. Please don't cater to these fragile dorks that fall over themselves to virtue signal something that has zero impact on their lives." But of course, over at The Gamer, these journalists, they definitely think this is a very serious issue. Continuing with their article, they say, Crow's tweet was then followed up by Indie Horror Squad on social media, who released a lengthy statement. "We love Schedule One and how creative it is, but we need to address something. One of the achievements in the game, Indian Dealer, is based on the harmful phrase Indian Giver. This term is rooted in a long history of racism and stereotypes against indigenous people. Even if the intent wasn't malicious, the impact still matters. Words like these reinforce false narratives and cause harm, especially when normalized in games we love. This is the only achievement in Schedule One tied to racist language. We're asking the developers to please consider removing or renaming this achievement." And yeah, once again, we can see this tweet from Indie Horror Squad. "Indigenous gamers, horror lovers, Twitch streamers, content creators," reads the bio. Let's take a look at some of the responses here at the top, reading, "Look at the views to likes on these tweets." They respond saying, "Your point? All I see is that more people should care about what we are saying. Indigenous issues are often less engaged with. People would rather romanticize our culture and ignore the negatives that do affect us." How is Schedule One romanticizing anything? Like, what the frick? It's like an extremely not serious game. And then we got the comment below it reading, some of the people commenting here are clearly not well. All that's being asked is the potentially unaware dev. Yeah, the devs who intentionally added this are somehow unaware. Oh my gosh, look at some of these other comments. Excuse me. This is so unfortunate to learn about because I've really been loving the game. I hope this has changed quickly. Replying for the algorithm, as much sharing as possible. Would love to see this corrected. Shared, commented, linked. Get the word out there, y'all. Boosting this post. Like, comment, save, share. Take and look at some of the quote tweets we've got. This is extremely disappointing. I hope the developers learn something from this moment and change the name of this achievement immediately. I hope that Tyler in Schedule 1 game can see the replies to us just bringing this up and see the types who are supporting leaving messaging like this in a game. Brings out the worst of the anonymous racist cowards who think being 47, anonymous, and edgy is cool. The quote tweets go on and on. And I think I need to take back what I said earlier, actually. There's definitely more than 5 upset people. There might actually be dozens of them. Finally, back at the gamer, they say, the creator of Schedule 1 has yet to speak on the Steam achievement, but we at The Gamer have reached out for comment. Yes, this is the very serious state of activism in the current year. But I also mentioned that there are also upset people over on Reddit. That takes us to this post from 3 days ago on R Hat Films saying, little heads up about Schedule 1. Just saw a post from Mousy about there being some racist/transphobic jokes in the game. Some seem to be achievement names and pretty small references. I'm not sure how far in advance the sessions have been recorded, but thought it might be worth mentioning in case that's something the boys would want to edit out. So yeah, I'm not familiar with these YouTubers at all, Hat Films, and I went to look for that post that they allegedly made, but I couldn't find it. Maybe they deleted it or something, or I just couldn't find it. I checked on like Twitter, YouTube community posts, and also Blue Sky. And then we've got some responses here. Let's see. I mean, one of the very first customers you can get is named Peter File. Lowbrow humor seems to be almost the whole game's premise. The OP saying, lowbrow is one thing, and I don't have an issue with it at all. It's just when it drifts into harmful tropes that it feels a bit off. We live in the most progressive era of all time. It's about time people started to realize that intent and context is all that matters. Hat Films are not transphobic, so no jokes they share have ill intent. And the OP responding once again saying, my post absolutely wasn't meant as a dig at the boys. One of the things that I really appreciate about them is how inclusive they are. It was merely meant to make them aware of stuff in the game that they might not be aware of, that could put out the wrong kind of vibe. I know if I was putting stuff out there that I didn't realize included some iffy stuff, I'd want someone to let me know. We'll take a look at 2 more comments here. This one reading, is that for the achievement Indian dealer? Sell something to a customer, then pickpocket it back? Isn't that referencing Indian giving? Wikipedia says, it is based on cultural misunderstandings that took place between the early European colonists and the indigenous people with whom they traded. Personally, I have heard the term Indian giver, but never realized it has pejorative connotations. The OP saying, that was one of the examples I saw in that thread, yeah. Okay, so it's a Reddit thread. Maybe I can find that then. We'll take a look after this if I can find it. And this response saying, who cares? It's all in jest. But the OP says, the people being joked about in demeaning ways might care. While intent does matter, excusing stuff is just in jest. Can lead to some pretty nasty ideas being normalized in the long run. And then we've got this exchange, which also explains why they're accusing it of being transphobic. Reads, I noticed while watching YouTube shorts that there was an effect on one of the strains of bud, that said, generizing. And of course it changed the smoker's gender. Because apparently, of course, Caitlyn Jenner is the first thing people think of when they think of anything trans. It left a bad taste in my mouth after that, and I won't be looking to engage with this other than watching some YouTubers play it. The OP saying, yeah, that was one of the ones that I saw referenced. Maybe I'm just particularly vigilant about it because of how scary things are for the trans community at the moment, but I still think it's something worth highlighting so it doesn't get too normalized. This response saying, or it's poking fun at Jenner because of the fact they transitioned, then turned on others who transitioned. And lastly, this exchange, where this comment says, I mean, is it more inclusive to also mock everyone? It's more of a celebrity reference than an outright transphobic one, though I suppose it is highlighting the gender change specifically, though it's not a negative. Caitlyn Jenner is simply the most well-known transgender person, the same way Tropic Thunder is so obviously the choice for a skin color change. But the OP says, mocking/joking about everyone equally only really works if everyone's on equal footing to begin with, really, which sadly isn't the case right now. This Little James Acaster bit illustrates it pretty nicely. Oh, but look, there's actually one more response. This one got -7 downvotes and reads, lol, seriously? So ultimately I couldn't find the thread that was being referenced here. Took a look for it, couldn't find it, don't know what that's all about, but I suppose the OP explained everything in this thread anyways. We'll close by going back to The Gamer. Once again, their article, "It's incredibly racist. Schedule 1 comes under fire for one of its achievements." Let me know what you think about their article. Let me know what you think about all this stuff in the comments. And I hope you enjoyed this segment. Hope you enjoyed the VTuber model and all that. And if you did enjoy, please consider liking and or subscribing to the channel. Appreciate you. See you in the comments and in the next one.